As James mentioned, you are here to talk about or to hear about dress to impress. And I was thinking about the word impress, and I was thinking about, well, who are we trying to impress, first of all? And by the way, if you were asleep during the husky part, which is not good, I hope you were not, you're definitely not going to be asleep during this part because I want you guys to be involved. So, who are we trying to impress? When we're talking about getting dressed, who? Amen to that. Who is that? Awesome. Ourselves. That's number one. Because you have to feel confident before you walk out the door. Because when you're in the middle of a situation, you don't have time to try to figure out whether or not you're confident. You have to be confident from the moment that you leave and prepare. Then you're just confident. Then all of your attention can go on who you're going to meet, who you're going to talk to, what you're going to do. So absolutely, ourselves. What else? Who else? Sorry. Do what? Absolutely, employers. We're definitely here talking about how to get a job. So absolutely here to impress employers. And what else? Yeah.
People around the organization that you come across as you're going to the employer?
Absolutely. The people around you, the receptionist, or your coworkers if you're already employed and you're wanting to level up where you are. So you basically have a 360-degree impression spectrum. You have you, which is internal, then you have the people around you, and then you have your employer, or soon to be, hopefully, your employer. Those are all of the people you're trying to impress. What are we trying to impress them with? What impress is that you have influenced them, that you have left them with something to remember, that you have influenced their opinion. So in line with that, what message are you wanting to impress on, in this case, your employers or future employers? Feel free to answer this one too. Do it. Absolutely, that you're capable and confident. Very good. What else?
You're the best choice.
Absolutely, that you're the best choice. That they know from the moment that you walk in the door, you are the best choice. Any other messages you want them to know about you? That you're capable, that you're the best choice, that you're really good at what you do. Those are the things I want you to think about when you're getting dressed. You don't have to answer this particular part, but I want you to think about what are the first 5 words you want someone to think of when they see you. That's your personal brand. Do you want them to think that you're interesting? Do you want them to think that you are personable? Do you want them to think that you are capable, approachable, trustworthy? What are the first 5 words you want someone to think of when they see you? So later, or now if you already know, write them down and think about, again, what those 5 words are and use that both as you prepare for your interview, as you prepare for interactions with friends, as you go out shopping. You want those words in your mind so that all of your choices are intentional and it's all leading into that one message. What are the first 5 words you want someone to think of? What message are we impressing on our audience? Several messages I want to talk about today are, one, just the action of getting dressed and putting effort into the way we look is important. It's important because that alone sends a message, regardless of what color, what you're wearing. The initial message of I put effort into the way that I look sends a message to ourselves and to our audience. And that message is I value me, I believe I'm worth the effort, therefore you need to know that I am worth the effort as well. Because if you don't believe that about you, how are other people going to believe that about you? So you are worth it. You are worth the time. You're worth investing in yourself. You are investing in yourself. I'm very impressed with you now because you're here, not only for this presentation, for the following presentation, to network. You're here to make yourself better. And already that is an impressive quality. So you want to indicate that you are worth the time and effort of the person that you are next to. You also want to influence those messages that you came up with your 5 words. And we're going to talk about how color influences people. I'm going to hit on the top 3 colors that you typically see in the workforce. We're going to talk about blue, we're going to talk about black, and we're going to talk about gray. If you have questions about some of the other colors later, we can do that. And then we're going to talk about the actual act of getting dressed and some of the nuances and the actual business professional, what goes into that. We're just going to go head to toe. Okay, so let's start with color. So I mentioned blue. Blue is one of the most common colors in business. The navy suit is ubiquitous and a necessity. So if you do not already own a navy suit, I strongly recommend that. That is for women and for men. Everyone looks good in navy. Don't worry about that. But navy is one of the best colors because blue indicates reliability, trustworthiness, loyalty, and dependability. It's an excellent calming color. So if you are really needing to buckle down and get busy with what it is that you have to focus on, if you have an exam coming up, go to some place that has a blue wall or wear blue. That little things like that can really influence you and your mood. As I'm talking about the definitions of what these colors mean, these are very widely accepted definitions. You'll see them. Are any of you in marketing? A couple of people. So I'm sure you've talked about this a little bit in marketing. And it's amazing to see how businesses use these colors both in their logos, but also in the way that they decorate their office and how they choose their colors for their uniforms, if they happen to have a uniform at their employment. So, and I have to say thank you quickly to J.Crew for providing some of these clothes for us today. So if we're looking at navy, this is what I always recommend for a first interview. If you have a black suit, that is okay. If that's the only one you've got, let's go with the black suit. That's still professional. But the reason I say navy first is because it's warm, it's approachable, it shows trustworthiness, it shows reliability, it shows that you are capable of the job. Now, if you are wanting to show something more aggressive or assertive, then black is a better color. Black has a different message. So this is the navy, this is the blue. If we look at what are some of the things you typically associate with the color black? FBI. Okay, that's one. What else? Strong. What was the last thing? Yeah, strong, empowered. Serious. Determined. What else? This side? Do you guys get a feel for the color black? Nothing? They're like, no, we're going to leave it to you guys. Okay, you have to answer the next one. Yes, black is typically associated with the things that you mentioned, the FBI, and being assertive and aggressive. It is still the color that you wear to a funeral, so it still has a seriousness and a solemnity to it. So when you think about black, you want to make sure that if you are already very assertive and very strong, then that black is going to accentuate that. If you want to tone that down about yourself, if you need to come across as a bit more warm and a bit more approachable, because assertive is your default, then navy is a great color to wear. So that's black, and that's navy. Then gray, I know you know what gray looks like, but I do have a slightly crinkly gray pair of pants. Iron your clothes before you wear them, please. Gray is associated with neutrality. Gray has a bit of a detached feeling to it. It also has an air of quiet sophistication. So if you're going into an interview where you're going to have to be one-on-one with clients a lot, and you need to really show that you are personable, that you are approachable, that you're engaged, that you can close a sale, I wouldn't recommend wearing gray, because that lack of emotion that's associated with gray is not what's needed for that particular job. So when you think about the jobs that you're interviewing for, what are the traits that they are going to want to see in an employee that meets the needs of that job? Do they need to be approachable? Do they need to be assertive? Do they need to be quietly sophisticated? Think about those things in addition to your brand words. See, it's much harder than just throwing on a pair of pants, right? Now everyone's going to be traumatized. Don't worry, we've got some good things for you. So that's blue, that's black, and gray. Actually, I'm going to throw in one additional color, which is red. I believe I have one red dress here. What do you associate with the color red? Bold, sexy. There's a reason that The Lady in Red is a classic song. Absolutely. What else? Say it again. Anger. That's a good one. Yes. Passion. Power. So you guys know these things about this color before I've even had a chance to tell you about it. That's how loud these colors are. That's how well accepted the message is about these colors. You see them and you have an immediate reaction. And there's a reason that you have that reaction. With red, yes, it is associated with passion. It's associated with power. It is perceived as a sexy color. Anger, which goes into the passion side as well. The thing about red is that it's very eye-catching. There's a reason that Where's Waldo wears a red and white striped shirt. It's very eye-catching. So if I walked into a room full of everyone wearing black suits and I'm wearing this dress, am I going to be noticed? Probably a little bit. So maybe a lot, depends on how well it fits. If it's too tight, I'm being noticed for the wrong reasons, for the record. So, yes, red is very eye-catching. In fact, it is the first thing that your eye goes to. So if you're thinking about dressing yourself and there is something that you don't want to draw attention to, don't put red on it, because that is the first place that the eye is going to go. So ladies, if you don't want attention to your thighs or back or to your stomach or to your bust, or if there's a particular section or you don't want attention drawn to, don't put red on it. If you're wearing a red dress, that's a little bit of an exception because it's a complete look. So instead of any one thing getting the attention, the whole dress is getting the attention. And yes, as I mentioned, it means passion, power, energy, life. Don't wear this color if I have 2 children at home, so don't wear red when you're trying to put your children to bed. It's a good way to stir them up. This is important. Red is a great color to wear when? When would you want to wear red? At a party. That would be a great one. When else? That's a great one. When you're depressed, you need a little kick. What do we typically do when we are tired and a little blah? What color do we typically wear? Right. We just throw on black because, okay, well, this looks put together, or it looks dressier than it is. Just a little note, the black actually accentuates the black circles under your eyes. So if you are tired, you're doing yourself a disservice by wearing black. So opt for navy. See, navy. We're back to navy. It's such a great color. So when you are feeling down, red is a great color. When would be another time? Excellent. When you're accepting an award. A fundraiser is a good one. Absolutely. Gala. These are great ideas. I'm sorry? Absolutely. That actually brings up a great point. If you are presenting and you are unsure of what you're talking about, or you're just nervous about what you're talking about, bust out the red, because it speaks confidence for you. So if you are talking about, again, many of your classes probably require that you give a presentation, and if you're nervous, wear red, because it does speak confidence for you. What would you want to wear to your first interview? Navy suit, I think I mentioned that. Navy suit's a great first interview. If you're going in for your second interview, what would you want to wear? Gray. Why gray? Because it's not black. Also, she's like, I was listening. Yes, that is a good reason. Do it. Well, for the second interview, I actually would wear black. Because yes, because they've asked you back. So for that first interview, you're wearing navy. For the second interview, they have already indicated now that they want you because they're asking you back. Or they have more questions, which still means that they want you because they want to know more. And black is a great color to wear for that second interview because it indicates your serious intention. Also, if you do happen to get into any kind of discussion about, usually it's fairly early in the process if it's on a second interview, but any kind of numbers discussion or scheduling or what the job might entail, black would be a good color to wear during a negotiation. And then we already talked about red. And gray would be good for which interview? Probably a third interview. That would be good. And the message is different based on the lightness and the darkness of the color. So a lighter gray, obviously, is going to be a little bit more passive than a darker gray might be. Yes?
So, what I'm thinking in my head right now is if you're trying to have an interview for a creative field, maybe navy's not the way to go, or black's not the way to go. Maybe you want to go red straight off the bat, and it doesn't so much for powerhousey as it does creative.
Right?
Would I be right in that assumption?
That is a good assumption. Another thing that I would do, especially if you are working for a creative role, and I actually just advised a client on this the other day, I would pick colors that are a creative combination. So assume that this is not a jacket. You'll just have to visualize. Since you're creative, you'll have to visualize this with me. Assume that this is either a shirt or you're wearing a white shirt and you have a lime green necklace or you have an earring set or something. That's an interesting combination of colors. So I would still aim for professional, but an interesting combination of colors would be a good way to show your creativity without losing that professionalism, because you want to keep the professionalism, even in a creative role. Later, when you're actually in the role, you can do a lot more. Maybe you take this navy suit and you pair it with the lace, which ladies, generally speaking, I would not advise wearing lace during an interview, because no matter how evolved we say we are, it's still lace and you're still a woman. And you don't want to send the wrong message. So this is something, but you could mix this up in a creative role. Again, not necessarily for the interview, but later. You could mix that up and make it more interesting and show that creativity. Good question. And you guys, please stop me if you have additional questions as I'm going. Okay, so we've talked color. And as I'm saying these things, I want you to know this will not make or break your interview. These are the intangibles that employers look for. I was just speaking at a very large hospital last week, and they showed their executive slide of the elements that they want in an executive person at the hospital, and gravitas was one of them. That's very nebulous. And gravitas is what I'm talking about when I talk about making sure that you are dressed impeccably, that you're using these colors to influence your message, to influence yourself, the way you use your body language, the way you use your posture. All of those little things add up to be a big message. So we've talked about color. Let's talk about the actual getting dressed head to toe. For grooming, I'm going to start at the top and just say, women, I know you know this, but I'm still going to say it out loud. Please do not show up with wet hair. Please make sure that your hair is done and in a style, meaning there is some product or some way that you have done your hair so that it's not just lifeless and taking attention away from you. You want the attention to go to your face, right? You want them to be talking to you. So think about things, when you're thinking about a hairstyle, you want to think about if there is a hairstyle that goes across your face, for instance, which actually I'm very impressed. None of you have. That's awesome. So if there's let's say, I'm just going to move this. Let's say my bangs are right here. I'm going to mess up my hair just for you. Okay, so let's say that my bangs are right here. What message am I sending to the person that's interviewing me? If you're interviewing me and my hair's like this, what are you thinking? Exactly. You're thinking that I'm hiding something. I'm not, I promise. But you already have that in your mind. Because how long does it take to form a first impression? Seconds. 3, 6, I've heard 6, but 3. The world is getting more fast-paced, so it wouldn't surprise me if it went down. But yeah, it's that you're hiding something. So women, make sure that you have your hair out of your face. Also, do not mess with your hair during the interview. I know that's very challenging for a whole lot of people, sometimes myself included, if I did not put enough product in there. You do not want to be the one that is constantly messing with your hair. What message do you want to impress on them? What do you want to be remembered for? Do you want to be remembered for the fact that you kept flipping your hair? Or do you want to be remembered for the fact that you are capable and you are the best option for the job? I'm going to say rhetorical because probably best option, right? Is everyone on board with that? So making sure you have a hairstyle, making sure it's out of your face, making sure it complements your face, that's important as well. Again, we're trying to dress in a way that you are a complete package, that there's nothing that distracts from your look. Guys, same thing. You need to have a hairstyle. Also, please do not show up with your hair wet. That's getting more and more relevant because hair is getting longer. But again, making sure that you have a hairstyle. For gentlemen, what about the beard? What do you think? Yes or no for an interview? Shave it, clean it. Yes, all the women are like, listen, if you do not maintain your beard, that goes for a date too, guys, just so we're saying. Yes, you do want to make sure that your beard is generally the most conservative is to go clean shaven. The most conservative, again, is clean shaven, and that depends on the industry that you're going into. But again, for the same reason that hiding part of my face is like I'm hiding something, the same thing happens with the beard as well for the guys. It's a little more accepted now because it is more popular and more current. But for those very conservative industries, law especially, clean shaven is definitely the best way to go. If not clean shaven, yes, clean it up. Gentlemen, we have to be able to see you. If there's just this furry thing here, we don't know. We don't know what's going on. We're just distracted thinking, how long has he been growing that? I don't know. Should I lend him my hair putty? I don't know. You don't want them thinking that. You don't want them thinking anything other than asking you questions about the job. Okay, so for earrings and all of that, ladies, what do you think? Super conservative answer, yes, would be pearls. You certainly can diverge from that. You don't have to wear just a stud. You can do more, but if you do more, same thing. You need to watch out. If all the attention is going to your earrings, it's not going to your face and it's not going to the words that are coming out of your mouth. It's just going to your earrings. Yes? Yes and no. So yes, that is a great way to incorporate color into your outfit to soften the black. You just want to make sure that it's not like a full-on chandelier earring or something like that. Then that would be a little bit distracting. Like actually I have a necklace somewhere right here. Here's one of them. So this necklace, if this was an earring, that's a lot. It's pretty. Totally cool, but that's probably a little bit distracting. If you don't know whether something that you're wearing is distracting, here is the best tip. Stand in front of the mirror, a full-length mirror. You need to have a full-length mirror somewhere, or at least have access to one. Stand in front of the mirror and close your eyes. Count to 6. Open your eyes. Wherever your eye goes first, that's where the other person's eye is going first also. So if that goes to your cleavage, ladies, that's the message you're sending. If it goes to your earrings, then that's the message you're sending. If it goes to your statement necklace or to your pants or whatever it is, gentlemen, if it's going to the shoes that you didn't shine that day, that's where the attention is going, and all of that detracts from your solid, impressive message that you are the best option for the job. Yeah.
Is it okay to mix gold and silver jewelry? Because I've heard like both ways.
Yes, I would say yes that it is. It's generally speaking, if you were going into an interview, I would pick one just so that you're not having to even think about it or worry about it. But yes, you can definitely mix it. Good question. Oh, sorry, if you can mix gold and silver, that you can. For an interview, I would probably opt for one just so that there is less of a distraction factor, but you absolutely can mix them. Like I'm currently wearing, oh no, both of them are gold. Normally I have a white gold one. So if rings, for instance, you can definitely mix those. Okay, earrings, statement necklaces for ladies. Actually, guys, do you mind coming up here, actually? You, yes, in the front. I'm gonna totally analyze you. Do you mind? Now you have no choice because you're already walking up. I waited until you're already here. Come on up. Tell me your name.
Soren.
Soren? Natalie, nice to meet you. Do you mind if I tell people about your jacket?
Sure.
First of all, Soren is very sharply dressed. Don't worry. This is not going to be a what not to wear episode. So I want to talk about the fit of the jacket. So actually, I'm going to have you stand one down so I can stand behind you. Okay, so for the fit of the jacket, and this goes for women and men, you need to make sure that the shoulder pad hits at the end of your shoulder. That's where it goes, nowhere else. It doesn't go in. Gentlemen, it doesn't go a little bit out. The style of jacket from several years ago has your shoulder pads going a little bit out, guys. So that is something you need to watch for. If you've not bought a jacket recently, go buy one. You want to make sure that that shoulder pad ends right at your shoulders. If it goes further, it looks like you've got the linebacker effect. You're still going to have to stay here for a little while, sorry. He's like, can I go now? Nope. It's going to have a little bit of the linebacker effect, and it's going to alter your body shape. If you have very slight shoulders, you do want to make sure that that jacket has some padding, because not a full-on 80s style shoulder pads, but you do want to make sure that it's got some structure, because that's going to give you structure as well. Okay, would you mind putting your hands down by your side for just a second? So a couple additional things. Oh, first of all, you do want to make sure it fits on the shoulders first, because that is the most expensive alteration, and you don't want to have to worry about that. So make sure that it fits on your shoulders first. To get it nipped in at the waist is simple and very easy, and most department stores will actually do it for you. So don't worry if it's a little bit loose on the waist in order for it to fit properly on the shoulders. For the jacket, if you're standing, you have to keep a straight face the whole time. I'm just kidding. For the jacket, if you are standing, you need to make sure that you have one button buttoned, just like he's got right now. You're passing all the tests. This is very good. So you want to make sure that you have one button buttoned, because, do you mind unbuttoning it? It's just a little bit sloppy, right? It's just a little bit sloppy, especially if you do happen to be wearing a double-breasted jacket, which is okay. But if you are wearing a double-breasted jacket, please, please, please never unbutton it. It always needs to be buttoned. So then if you had it unbuttoned, there would be a whole lot of pieces. Okay, you can button it back, thanks. And then when we are talking about the length of the jacket, this is for men, especially for women, for the conservative fit, because I know we've got three-quarter sleeves, we've got bracelets, we have all different kinds of things. But for the most conservative, you want the jacket to hit right at this bone right here, right at your wrist bone. That's where you want your jacket sleeve to hit. Right? Aren't you excited? You totally nailed it.
I just learned that now. Do you work for GQ?
I don't, but I've talked to them a couple of times. So yes, you want to make sure that it stops right at the wrist bone. Again, women, that still applies to you, but we get the luxury of having a few other sleeve lengths that we can play with. But for your most conservative option, that's what you're going for. Because if it's longer, can you just pull your, or here, I'll use this one. So you don't have to look strange. If this is my jacket sleeve and it's this long, what does that look like? Well, there are lots of things this looks like, I'm sure. But let's just pretend that that's my jacket. Okay, so what does that do? What? It does look sloppy. Absolutely. What else? Yes, like a child, like I've put on my parents' clothes. What else? It what? It's not mine. I have borrowed it from someone on the street. It's Daddy's Sunday suit. Exactly. But same thing. What's hidden? My hands are hidden. And listen, if we were talking about the face being hidden, you do not want to hide your hands. And I'm sure Pat will probably mention that when we're talking about etiquette and sitting at the table too, that having both hands under the table, immediately people are like, what's going on over there? What are you doing? So you want to make sure that it's not too long, because yes, it does look sloppy, but also there are those subconscious messages that are being sent when that jacket sleeve is a little bit too long. And then in terms of the length of your shirt, I'm actually going to pull this down just a little bit. Oh, you've got a nice watch. That's nice. But it's going to prevent that from... That's really cool. Yeah. I also want your watch. Okay. So if we go on this side, the most conservative is to do about 1/4 inch, where your shirt is showing about 1/4 inch past your jacket. If you go longer than that, that is just a more current, modern look, but you have the flexibility to do that. Then I'm going to talk about your pants too really fast. we're just going to go all the way down. So with pants, for pants, the main thing that I want to talk about is currently, although they are coming back, cuffs are generally out. I would not, I would, oh, good. Well, look, just preempted that question. We've never met, by the way. I feel like we're doing some sort of thing that we've talked about. Sure. So with your pants, I would leave the cuff off. That is generally going to be a cleaner look. And I am going to have you stand all the way up at the top now. So guys, you have a couple of options. And women, this applies to you as well, just less so because we generally don't have a shoe that the pant is hitting. You have a couple of options with your cuff, and it's called the break. You can do full, half, or no break. Generally, for some of these thinner trimmed pants, you're going to want to go with no break. If you are 5'10" or less, generally speaking, you're also going to want to go with no break, because anytime, and women, this applies for us as well, anytime you see a horizontal line or some fold in the fabric, that adds bulk and it adds visual weight to your look. So that's why when you're wearing skinny jeans, for instance, they actually really do need to be tight so that you don't have all the little ripples, because that actually makes you look heavier than you are. Same thing applies with dress pants and dress slacks as well. So half break is roughly what he has right now, even a little bit less. Here, come stand this way a little bit. If you wanted to go all the way to no break, hopefully I'm not flashing any of you, it would go about like that. And again, you just have a solid line and it would look very clean. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. You guys give Soren a round of applause. Thanks very much. Thanks for letting me analyze your outfit. So again, I'm focusing on the men's suiting, but ladies, that applies for us as well, because we have some of those same nuances in the way that the outfit fits you. You do want to keep in mind, of course, your body shape when you are getting dressed. You want to make sure that you are accentuating your shape, not detracting from your shape. I do have several accessories that I wanted to talk about from a women's perspective. If I went with, so guys, I do have a navy suit here. Your most conservative option would be a navy suit, a white shirt, and a conservative tie. Let's say that we use this tie. That would be your most conservative option. You can show your personality in different ways. I don't recommend showing a whole lot through your clothes for a first interview. You can show that through the way you talk, through the way you answer your questions, through what you talk about, through your resume, however you want to do that. But for your clothes, I would recommend keeping it a bit conservative for that first interview. And the best part about making sure that you've got this full suit is then when it's time to mix and match, it's easy to do that. So then you can add this gray pant and you've got this navy jacket already, or if you wanted to dress up a pair of slacks or jeans, then you could still put on a blazer with that and mix and match as well. But again, your most conservative is going to be white. Actually, really quickly for guys, I'm going back up to the top. For your collars, you've got point, semi-spread, and spread collars. And the difference is where this point ends. So a point collar is going to be fairly tall and fairly close together. It's about 3 inches. Semi-spread ends up being about 4 inches. Super spread ends up being, which I think this one kind of is. This is the super spread one. Ends up being about 5. This is the more modern look. The point, and this is a semi-spread. So then the point collar would be your most conservative, and that allows for the smallest the smallest knot on your tie is the point collar. So a quick note about that for guys. And James was asking earlier if I would tie a tie, and the answer is no. But I will tell you that YouTube has amazing, wonderful videos out there. I did find a really excellent one on tying a bow tie. So I can tie a bow tie, but not as good with actual ties. Guys, in terms of socks, just really quickly, again, finishing out some of your accessories, because women, we have about 5,000 to choose from. They have 3. And that is, your socks match your shirt. They don't match your shoes. They don't match your pants. They match your shirt. So if you're wearing a light blue shirt, then maybe this sock with the lighter blue polka dot, that ties it in. Crazy socks, fun socks are way in right now. Do that, but consider what is on the sock before you wear it. For instance, I would skip skulls, I would skip Tweety, I would skip pirate ships, I would skip anything that's cartoonish. When I say fun, I mean that now the pattern, maybe this would be a multicolor polka dot instead of a solid polka dot. That's a more interesting yet still professional sock that you could wear. Also, a quick note for guys on the shoes. I'll do women's shoes at the same time, actually. These are your two most conservative options. Actually, guys, you would have a little bit of a darker, I'm talking about shoe shape. Women, this is our most conservative shoe shape option, where you have a point toe and a higher heel. With guys, this toe right here is what I strongly recommend when you're considering what type of shoe to wear. There are a lot of square toes shoes available. Please just skip right past them as you're choosing which shoes to buy. You can say, oh, look, there's that square toe she was talking about. I'll go over here. Because for lots of reasons, but one of the reasons, especially if you were 5'10" or shorter, it's going to make you look short. It's also going to make you look a little bit wide. So when you have this tapered toe, that's going to be the most flattering, elongating shape, because that keeps that leg line going. And the same thing goes with women. We have that same thing. That's why the point toe is both so flattering and so classic, because it extends that leg line. I do hear from women who say, oh, well, I really need to wear flats because I have some sort of foot issue or I can't walk in heels. First of all, try to walk in heels. But if it is some sort of foot issue, make sure that you are wearing a dressy flat. This is especially where you do not want to wear a super rounded toe, a super worn out flat, especially if you're wearing a skirt. It's just not going to look as polished and professional as you could. A note about accessories. So we've talked about some of our colors. What time is it, by the way? Does anybody know? Okay, so for women and accessories, a couple of notes. Actually, I'll start here. If we've got our navy suit, and let's say we put this kind of lilac shirt underneath it. Again, your most conservative would be a white top. And generally, I would aim for non-cotton. There are so many, of course a silk shirt is nice, but there are so many excellent polyester blends that are out there that look so sharp. They also heal from stains really well. I know this because I have a 6-month-old who has trashed a couple of my shirts and they clean very nicely. And it just looks the sharpest and it looks the dressiest. So when you were thinking about what accessories to wear, again, we talked about the statement necklace. Okay, the statement necklace is great, except this one is a lot. Now, underneath a suit jacket, you're not seeing that much of it. So it's not as bright and bold as it might have looked on its own. Like if I took my jacket off, that looks like more than I would want to see at work. With a jacket on, it's more conservative, more work appropriate. But another way that you can alter this is if you took a white button-down shirt, which I'm going to use this one. I do have this other one, and I mentioned ironing. Make sure that you iron your things. You don't want little things like that to take away from your look. Guys, make sure your shoes are shined. Pick what you're going to wear the night before. Make sure all the pieces in your closet are properly tailored for you, that they don't have any rips in them, that they don't have any stains in them. So many things. Just make sure everything in your closet is wearable. Okay, so if I had this statement necklace, and I went with my conservative white shirt, and I have my hanger mannequin is not quite cooperating. But one way that you can still get away with a statement necklace without showing so much, so Again, for that creative job, or if you just want to show some of your personality, if your personality is statement necklace oriented, I would put it underneath the shirt so that you're just seeing a little bit of that. So there's some interest, but there's not distraction. Interest is good, distraction is not. So that's a way that you could tone that down if you wanted to still wear something along those lines. Definitely. I think yes. Yeah, you absolutely could do that, for sure. And that brings up a good point. Women, guys sometimes too, if there's a vest available, but women, when you are buying a suit, I would buy all of the pieces that are available in that particular suit. If it fits you well, which don't buy it if it doesn't, but if it fits you well, buy the jacket and buy the pant, and then I think, we may not have done it, but it also comes in a sheath dress just like this one. This is the Super 120 from J. Crew, which is nice because it's a all-season wool, and it wears well and lasts a long time, and it looks sharp. Excuse me. There was also a dress in this navy in the same material at J. Crew as well. So I would do the jacket and the slack, and then we had a skirt somewhere in here as well. I think we grabbed the black one, but they also had navy. I would buy all of the pieces, because if you have all of those pieces, you have half of a capsule wardrobe already taken care of. Because then, let's say that you've got, so you have this, and you can wear it with the jacket over the dress, or you can wear the jacket with the skirt, or you can wear the jacket with the slack. Then if you took the jacket off, you can do the slacks with a cardigan on its own, or you could do slacks over a white shirt, or you could do, again, I'm just sort of throwing these things, but look, that looks great. And this is what I would classify as business casual. It's almost business professional, but in most places, business professional still is wearing a suit. And women, I know we have a tendency to say, well, I'm wearing a cardigan and I look really put together, therefore this counts as business professional. I would still err on the side of a suit jacket is business professional. So this would be a very sharp business casual look. And the way that you show your shirt sleeve, the way that you roll it up, the way that you have it tucked in, those are all things that can show your personal style. So if you're looking at this and thinking, oh my gosh, that looks so boring for the way that I would normally dress, you can mix it up. This particular necklace is reversible. So maybe you show the flashier side when you're wearing something like this, and the more simple side when you're wearing something like this. This is what I would then put, let's say, with the same pair of slacks, with a cami, which, ladies, a lot of the camis tend to have lace at the top, and that's okay, but I would opt for something that has just a solid top as the more conservative option. So then this could be a business casual look, or you could put that with a pair of skinny jeans and heels, and that would be a way to have an upgraded look on Casual Friday. You can do a lot of different things, and when you're picking out your clothes, I recommend, and this goes for guys as well, when you're shopping, try to find things that go with those pieces all at one time. So guys especially, because so many of these browns are different and nuanced these days. Sometimes they have cherry, sometimes they have orange, sometimes they have some of the more cognac color. Find a belt that goes with that pair of shoes right then. You will have the hardest time in the world finding the right belt later. Just trust me. Find the correct pair right then. Also, when you are trying to find pieces, these are all things that we pulled from J. Crew this week, and they all go together. Your navies go with your blues, goes with your lilac, and then your coral goes with the navy and goes with the white, and then the red goes with the navy, and then you've got this as an interesting pencil skirt that you can pair with your white button-down shirt, but the colors kind of go together. So when you're thinking about creating a capsule wardrobe, you pick your dominant color, which would be either navy, black, gray, or brown. Brown's very hard, but I would, generally speaking, on professional terms, choose navy, black, or gray. And then pick 2 to 3 colors that go with that in addition to some of your basics, and then you'll create that capsule wardrobe. So lots of tips, lots of things to think about, but the number one thing I want you to remember is the message that you are trying to impress on you, your employers, and the people around you. Fashion is fun. There are trends, there are classics, there are things that reflect your personal style. You want to use all of those things to your advantage so that you're dressing with intention, because what you wear shares a message about you before you've even had a chance to say a word. Thank you guys very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Natalie. Thank you so much. Now I'm feeling awkward walking up here now with what I'm wearing. Right? Now, how many of you are going to think about what you're wearing and what others are wearing? Right? Right? Who's looking around and saying, like, okay, I see what you're, okay, I see the tie, the jacket, okay, all right. Because we communicate most of the time without saying a word. It's what she's getting across to you. So, Natalie, thank you so much.